Hello friends, welcome to Yogic and Modern Science. Friends, in the previous episode, we had talked about the Hindu gods and goddesses, and the response of that video was immense. And uh, I was just going through some comments in the comment section, and the very important comment I found was that I should be speaking in English language, okay, and I should be explaining about Hindu gods and goddesses and what are their places, okay, how are they different from one god and so on. So I got a comment from I think his name is Promal Herbert. Okay, I don't know anything about him. Okay, but he is Promal Herbert, and his comment was to explain in English, right? So in this episode, I'll be explaining about the Hindu gods and goddesses, right? So people are confused nowadays. Why Hindus worship so many gods and goddesses? Why are there 33 crores Devi and Devtas, gods and goddesses in Hindu? And Hindus also talk about one God. Okay, so Hinduism is monotheism or polytheism. Okay, so there is a huge confusion among the people. You see, the Hindu religion or Hinduism is a little mysterious, enigmatic religion. Mysterious in the sense that Hindus talk about one God, one reality, okay, but there are so many gods and goddesses also. Actually, God is one, okay. Actually, in Hindus, there are not so many gods, but there are so many devas, Dev, and Devi, okay. So, male counterpart is Dev and female counterpart is Devi, okay. So, there are so many devas and devis, okay, in Hinduism, okay. But in reality, mind you, in reality, there is only one reality, there is only one truth, there is only one real being, okay, which is known as Paramatman or God or whatever name you can give, okay, but there is only one, that is the real one. Apart from that reality, the real entity, okay, everything else is in kalpa, everything else is in appearance only, not in the reality, okay. So in reality there is only one truth, only one power, okay, that is Paramatma or one God, okay. So in this way it is called monotheism, okay. There is the concept of only one power, one energy, right? But you see, this power, this oneness is not knowable. We cannot reduce it to any kind of knowledge. It cannot be experienced. There is no name, there is no form. That is Paramatma. Okay, it is. These are the attributes of that one entity. Okay, we should not call these attributes. Okay, I mean this is the attribute which is devoid of any other attribute. There is no experience in this entity. Okay, and there is no experience of any energy. Nothing. There is nothingness. So this is one being. Okay, Paramatman. Now this one becomes two in appearance. From here appearance starts. It becomes two. Okay. So in the one, in you see, in other school of thoughts, this oneness, it is also called, it is also known as I, the I principle. And when it becomes two, then there comes I am principle. The I am principle is energy principle. When it becomes two, then one counterpart is energetic. The other part is the horizontal part, okay, which is dependent on the first part, right? In other school of thoughts, it is also known as Purush and Prakriti. The energy of consciousness, okay, that is the male part, Purush part, and the primordial matter, okay, which is also called Prakriti. Okay, so one becomes two, okay, or not one becomes two, one appears to be true, two, right? So one is energy of consciousness and the other one is Prakriti. Now, when this energy of consciousness, it gets established within the Prakriti, within the unmanifested Prakriti, in the Jivas, because here there is a system of three principles, okay? One is energy of consciousness, the second one is the Prakriti, the primordial matter, okay, and the third principle is Jivatmas, the conscious agents in the Prakriti. Now when the energy of consciousness, okay, which is above the Prakriti, which is beyond the Prakriti, when it gets established within the Prakriti in the form of Jivatmas, then the whole manifestation starts to occur. Manifestation starts, okay, it has not yet manifested, okay, but this is the seed of manifestation. So what is the seed of manifestation? The centering, establishing of the energy of consciousness in the Jivas, within the whole Prakriti. Now from this point onwards, the whole game starts. Okay, the whole game of creation or manifestation. Now in the primary stage of manifestation, this established energy is manifested not like earth, not like visible things, but they are manifested in the form of energy, okay, and these energies are the causal energy for other effects, for further effects. These causal energies are called Devas and Devis, Dev and Devi in Hinduism. For example, there is Agni Devta, right, or Vayu Devta. Now the Agni Dev or Vayu Dev, okay, they are manifested in the causal form, the causal energy, okay, they are all Devatas, right, and their further manifestation, okay, it is the female part. The central part is Devas, Dev, and its further manifestation, the physical part, counterpart is Devi or goddess, you can say. Okay, so if you want to understand this in terms of gods and goddesses, then there is no problem. Okay, so let's call the first principle, the first entity, as the Paramatma, and these causal things, these causal energies, you may call gods and goddesses, right? So this is the concept of gods and goddesses in Hinduism. So the existence of gods or goddesses are there within the Prakriti, not beyond it. This is the first thing. Now this causal energy is manifested further. Okay, it is manifested in the form of the whole Prakriti, the whole manifestation that we see around us. Okay, we see sun, moon, plants, mountains, rivers, etc., etc., everything in the nature. Okay, so this is, in Hinduism it is called Adhibhuta. Okay, and the gods and goddesses in the Prakriti, the causal energy, they are called Adhidev. So there is a concept of Adhidev, Adhibhut, and then Adhyatma. Adhyatma means the Jivatmas, we, okay, the human beings, animals, plants, they are all small beings. Now these Adhibhutas, they are also established in us, okay, in the subtle form. For example, sun is established in our eyes. The Agni, the principle of fire, okay, whose god or whose dev is called Agni Dev. Okay, it is established in our speech. The Vayu, it is established in our heart, etc. Okay, so in this way, in a Jivatma, okay, in Jivatmas or in Adhyatma, all the energies are established in subtle form. Okay, so in the manifested form, that is Adhidev, the same energy is there in the manifested form. In the causal form, it is called Dev, but it is the same energy, the established energy of the energy of consciousness, okay, which is beyond the whole Prakriti. So this is the concept of Hindus, gods and goddesses, right? The energy of consciousness, which is beyond the whole Prakriti. In Hinduism, this energy, which is beyond the whole Prakriti, it is also called Ishwar, the principle of Ishwar, right? So hopefully we have all understood the principle of one, okay, that is the I principle, which is also called Paramatma. Then it appears to be two, okay, where we have Prakriti and Ishwar. Now within the Prakriti there are gods and goddesses, okay, and further these gods and goddesses, okay, they are manifested in the form of Adhibhut and Adhyatma. Okay, so these are the various concepts of gods and goddesses and Paramatma and Ishwar and Prakriti. Okay, so hopefully it must be clear to all of you. Now, in Hinduism, there was a tradition. Nowadays, these traditions are lost. Okay, maybe somewhere they are still maintained. Okay, but in most of the places, okay, they are not observed now. They are not maintained. Okay, now in Hindu tradition, okay, there was the people used to think about these about the cause of anything. Suppose we have to have food, okay, we have to have lunch or dinner, okay, so whatever food we have, we take in, okay. Now by taking in food, what we do actually, we satisfy, okay, we satisfy our sense organs, okay, we satisfy ourselves, okay, thereby we satisfy the gods actually, okay, because all kinds of energy, okay, are the manifestation of the causal energy, and those causal energies are called gods and goddesses, okay. So actually we are the embodiment of all those causal energies, of all those gods and goddesses, right? And in the earlier days, we used to think about the causal chain of each and everything. Suppose we are taking in food, then we used to think first, before taking in food, we used to think the whole chain of that food, from where that food came, okay, what is the origin of that food, okay. For example, on the plate we have food, any food you can have, okay. Now we used to think from where that food has come, okay. It must have come from some shop, okay. Now in that shop, okay, from where it has come, okay, it must have come from the farmer, okay. Now farmer has must have planted those plants, those trees, okay. And now in the trees, okay, the cause of the tree is the seed, okay. And how the seed germinated, okay, it required rainfall, okay. So we used to think over all the causal chain of the food, okay, before taking in the food. It means we used to think not in terms of ourself, our own ego, but we used to think that this food has come from somewhere else. It is the result of some other energies in the prakriti. Okay, after that, after thinking over, after pondering over, okay, all these causal chain, then we used to take that food. Okay, and when we take that kind of food, okay, that food was considered to be the sacred food. Okay, that food is was considered to be a sacred food. Okay, now in this way, uh, we used to think about, not in the uh, you can say selfish term. Okay, uh, we can go beyond ourselves. Okay, we can cross our boundaries, so that we can also go back to our history, from where we have come from. Okay, so if once the seed of this kind of thinking goes in our being, okay, then that seed of thinking can develop into a great understanding. Okay, and it can throw us also in the same place, okay, from where those that food has had come from. Okay, because you see, the root cause of everything is same, the one principle, the first principle, the I principle. Okay, so I mean, thinking like this, okay, just as we thought about food, so if we develop that kind of thinking about everything in our life, okay, then unknowingly, okay, we can reach, okay, to the first principle. Okay, so this was our tradition, right? So the Hindu tradition is rich, okay, in this way. In other traditions, okay, these kind of thinking does not exist. Okay, maybe in Christianity, they thank God, okay, for everything the God has given. Okay, but uh, in Hinduism, okay, this goes even a little deeper. Okay, we used to think the whole causal chain, okay, of the food. Okay, so through the food, through thinking about the causal chain of that food, okay, we could go in our own root cause, right? So hopefully, the concept of gods and goddesses, or you can say the concept of these divine causal energies, okay, must be clear to all of you, right? In the next episode, I'll come up with some new topic, okay, which will be, of course, very interesting. Thank you.